Today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet your very own Perry the Platypus. It's really cute, it's really simple. This is a pattern written by an amazing artist I found over on Instagram. So when you do finish making your one, don't forget to tag them and to tag me over on Instagram and TikTok, as I would definitely love to see it. You will need some orange, green and brown yarn, needle, a 4.5mm hook, your stitch marker and some scissors, some 12mm safety eyes, and you will need some stuffing. So we're going to start off with the body, and for round one we're going to do a magic ring with 6 single crochets in it. So I'll slowly show you how to do a magic ring. So you get your thumb and your ring finger, you want to wrap the yarn around your 2 fingers here, so there's an X, and you want to get your pinky and hold it there like that. So you should have 2 lines on this side and a cross on this side. You want to insert your hook in between those 2 fingers, and you want to pull this piece of yarn on the left until it looks like a capital A when you turn it this way. Then you're going to twist your hand and you're going to get this piece on the left, and you want to just pull it through the loop that was already on your hook, and that is how you do a magic ring. So you just want to untangle it and it should literally just look like a circle. Then we're going to do a chain of 1, so you just pull up a loop. And because this pattern needs 6 single crochets, I count this one as our first stitch, and then we're going to do 5 more single crochets into that magic ring. So to do a single crochet, you want to insert your hook into the middle, and then we're going to pull up a loop like this. So you should then have 2 loops on your hook. Then we're going to yarn over and go through both loops that were on our hook. And as you can see, we've just done 1 single crochet there. I'm going to do that 4 more times as we've already got 2. So this is the 3rd single crochet, 4, 5 and 6. Then we just untangle this piece in the middle and pull it nice and tight. Now onto round 2, we're going to increase in each stitch. An increase is just 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. So we're going to find that first stitch, which is right there. We're going to do 1 single crochet the way we've just done them, and we're going to add our stitch marker into both loops so we know where the first stitch is. And as I said, an increase is 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, and we've only done 1. So we're going to find the original hole, which is right there. I'm going to do another single crochet in that stitch. So you're going to do that all the way around, and at the end of the round you should have 12 stitches. So this is 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10 and 11 and 12. So moving on to round 3, you're going to do a single crochet and then an increase. I'm going to do that 6 times over. At the end of the round you should have 18 stitches. So we're going to do a single crochet, we add our stitch marker in again, make sure it's through both loops, and then we're going to increase in the next stitch, so 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. So that was 1 and 2. So we're going to repeat that pattern, single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, all the way until we get to our stitch marker again. So that is 1 and then an increase, 1 and then an increase, 1, increase, 1, increase, 1 and increase. Moving on to round 4, we're going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase. So similar to what we just did on the previous round. So I'm going to insert my hook and do the first single crochet. I'm going to put our stitch marker back on, and then I'm going to do a 2nd single crochet in the next stitch, and then in the 3rd stitch we're going to do an increase, so 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. So that was 1 and 2, and you're going to repeat that all the way around, and you should have 24 stitches once you get back to your stitch marker. So let's continue. 1, 2, increase, 1, 2, increase, 1, 2 and increase, 1, 2, increase, 1, 2 and increase. And that is round 4 complete. So for the next 7 rounds, from round 5 until round 11, we're going to do single crochets all the way around. It's really simple. Each round should end up with 24 stitches. So we're going to do round 5 now, and as I said, just single crochets around. Just on our first one, put that stitch marker in. I'm going to speed through this because you guys know how to do single crochets, so I'm just going to crochet really fast so this video is not too long for you guys. And again, if you just want to double check, you can count each stitch around and there should be 24. So now moving on to round 12, we're going to do 2 single crochets and then a decrease. I'm going to show you how to do a decrease. I like to do invisible decreases. I feel like it just means there's less holes. So we're going to do 2 single crochets. So we're going to do our first one. And then we're going to insert our stitch marker. We do our second single crochet. So this loop right here that I've just pulled up, this is the front loop and the one behind it is the back loop. For an invisible decrease, we're only using the front loops. So we'll pull up a loop like this, then we go into the front loop of the next stitch as well. So up through that middle, pull up a loop. You should now have 3 loops on your hook. Then we're going to yarn over and we're going to go through all 3 of the loops that are on our hook. And what that does is it turns 2 stitches back into 1. So we're going to do 2 single crochets and then decrease all the way around. At the end of this round, we should have 18 stitches. So this is 1 single crochet, second single crochet, and then again through the front loops only to do this decrease. And then through all 3. So 1, 2 and decrease, 1, 2, decrease, 1, 2, decrease, 1, 2 and decrease. So if you want to count, there should be 18 stitches around, and we're going to actually join in our eyes now. The eyes are between rounds 6 and 7. In the pattern they use 14mm eyes, but I do not have that, so I will be using 12. So to find round 6 and round 7, what you do is you count the rings. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So you know it's going to be between these 2 rounds, so you just pop one in. And the pattern also says it is 4 to 5 visible stitches apart, so you want to count 4 to 5 stitches from this eye. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to put it in the next stitch. As I am using smaller eyes, I don't want them to look too far apart. So as long as you're happy with that, you're happy they're in the correct row, you just want to pop the backs on to those eyes. And then the pattern says to start stuffing the body. You just have to stuff it little by little. And you just want to make sure that you don't feel any bumps around the edges. So as you can see, it looks nice and smooth. We're going to insert our hook back in. Now we're going to move on to round 13. So we're going to take the stitch marker out. I'm going to do a single crochet and then a decrease. We're going to do it 6 times around and you should end up with 12 stitches. So we're going to do our first single crochet. Add our stitch marker. And then we're going to do a decrease. So again, through those front loops, remember. and you're going to repeat that all the way around. So single crochet and then a decrease, single crochet and then a decrease, single crochet, decrease, single crochet and decrease. Remember to be in those front loops, single crochet and then a decrease. So as you can see, the body is now starting to close up. We're just going to close up the final round, round 14, with 6 decreases all the way around. So I'm going to pull up those front loops and do a decrease, add our stitch marker back on. This is our second decrease, our third, fourth, fifth, and we've just got one more, 6. Then we can just cut off a little end like this. Slowly pull this yarn through so it doesn't tear or anything. We can take this out, and that is our body piece done. We're actually going to close it off now, so we just get a needle and you're going to go in the front loops only, and you're going to go around 6 stitches. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then you're just going to slowly pull it, and as you can see that has closed. Then you want to go 1 stitch down. I like to go around, and we're just going to make a little knot just so that doesn't come out. Pull it nice and tight, and again just going to do another knot in any stitch, it doesn't matter. I just usually tend to turn it a little bit and then go again, and then you just pull through a random stitch like that and fasten that off. And here's how your body should be looking right now. Next we're going to do the bill. We're going to get some orange and we're going to do a magic ring with 6 single crochets in it. So again, we grab our thumb and our ring finger, we make that X, we make that X, and you want to hold it with the pinky and your ring finger like this. We go under and we pull this loop through, we turn our hand and pull through that loop there, we untangle it and we chain 1. Then we're going to do 5 more single crochets into that magic ring. So through the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then we just have to pull this closed. So here's how it should be looking, and then we're just going to cut off an end because we're going to sew this on. Slowly pull this through. Using our needle, we're going to sew this onto the body between rounds 7 and 8. You know the eyes are between round 6 and 7, so the bill must be between round 7 and 8. So literally right there. So we're just going to insert our needle, and then you want to go under. I like to do it like this because it creates almost a little knot. And through to the next stitch. And again, you're just going to keep doing this across until your bill is joined. I'm going to do one more, just so we know that it's fully secure. And then we're going to wrap the yarn over this side. We're going to go back into that original stitch, and we're going to come out of a random stitch like that. So as you can see, it looks nice and flat over the top now with the tail of the magic ring. So this was where we pulled the center. You're going to go in directly under there. You're going to go in directly under where we just sewed the bill on and come out through that same stitch. Just like that. Then you want to do a double knot with these two pieces. And then we can just cut this off. You pull off the little fuzzies on the end. And you just use your needle to poke a hole through that. The bill should now be joined on, looking nice and neat. Next we're going to do the feet, and we need to do a slip knot and then a chain of 4. So the way I do a slip knot, there's many different ways. Over my pinky, around my 2 middle fingers, and then over my index finger to make this little cross shape. Then I just pick it up, twist it down, and then pick it up again and go through that little loop that was on my hook, and there you have a slip knot. Another way to do it is you just grab the yarn and you do 2 little loops on your finger, then you push 1 loop over, and you want to push this piece through that gap and just put your hook in here and then pull the ends. So there's many different ways to do a slip knot, but yeah, so any way will work as long as and then we're going to chain 4. So you just need to pick up the yarn and pull it through the loop that was on the hook. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then starting the second chain from the hook. So this one that I'm pointing at right here is the first chain, and this one is the second chain. So we're going to go into that one, second chain, and we're going to do a single crochet. Then in the next chain, so this one here, we're going to do a half double crochet. So all you have to do is just yarn over like this, then insert your hook into the next chain, then pull up a loop, and then you're going to go through all 3 of those loops on your hook. And then for the last chain, we're going to do a double crochet. So once again, you want to yarn over, then you're going to pull up a loop, but this time you want to yarn over and pull through just 2 of those loops, and then again yarn over and pull through just the last 2. You can pull this bit nice and tight, and that is 1 foot done. And then we're just going to cut off a nice long tail because we're going to sew this on. So here's how it should be looking. All you have to do is just repeat that step for the foot and make the second one. Once you've got both, it should look like this. They should look identical. And we're going to do a magic ring with 3 single crochets in it. So we're going to do a magic ring, then we chain 1, and then we're going to do 2 more single crochets. So 1 and 2. Then we're going to close this off, and that's how it should look. We're just going to leave a little tail, and then you're just going to repeat that until you have a second one. You should have both arms now and both legs, and we're going to attach them on now. So we're going to attach the arm over rounds 8 and 9. So we know that the bill was in between round 7 and 8. So we're going to attach the arms between round 8 and round 9. So it's going to be going over here. So you just want to make sure that it's on the sides and it's in the right position. You want to go into round 8 and just go through both sides of that magic ring. Into the next, and into round 9 as well. And I'm just going to go back through just to make sure that it's secure. and then back into that original stitch, and I'm going to pull back through a random one, and then with the center of that magic ring, again you're just going to go through a stitch and out into that same one there. So that is one arm on. You can just tie this off. Take off these little fuzzy bits, and we do the same for the other side. We're going to be going over round 8 and round 9, so that's just about here. Make sure it looks even. Go through. And then we're just going to put this back through and tie those ends off. So you should have the arms on now. We're going to do the legs. For some reason it decided not to record me sewing on this leg, so I'm going to do it again with this leg, and you can just repeat it again. The leg is going to go over rounds 11 and 13, between 11, 12 and 13, so these 3 rounds here. And you want the leg to be in line with the eye. So you're just going to insert your needle and pull up through that piece. And then I'm going to go back in again, but go 1 stitch ahead. And I'm just going to continue to do that method until the leg is fully attached. So you go back through the previous one and go forward 1 piece. Sorry, that was my phone buzzing. So back in through that previous one and then into that next stitch that I'm going to go in. And then we come out this side, through the previous one, and into the next one. For the legs, when you do it this way, it actually keeps the triangle shape. Sorry, I was a bit off camera there. Back through the previous round. Now we're going into round 13 and doing this corner stitch right here into round 13. Back for the previous one, going this way. Whoops, pulled up a bunch of stuffing just there. Through the previous one, into the next one. I'm going to come out this way. And we've just got the final few stitches. And then we're just going to insert our hook back in, go through a random stitch. Also insert this one back through a random stitch. And we're just going to tie these off with a double knot. So here's how Perry should be looking so far. Now we're going to make the tail. Again, we're going to start with a magic ring with 6 single crochets in it. So here's our magic ring. So here's our magic ring. Then we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do 5 more single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And then for the next 4 rounds we're going to single crochet all the way around. So for rounds 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we're going to do a single crochet and we'll add our stitch marker, and this is round 2. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Moving on to round 3, add 1 single crochet and then we add our stitch marker. I'm going to turn this the correct way around so it's easier to actually crochet into. As you can see, all the stitches are much easier to see now. So that was 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Moving on to round 4, this is 1, add our stitch marker, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and 1 more round of single crochets. We're going to do 1, add our stitch marker back on, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5 and 6. So then we're gonna shove this little piece that's hanging out just in, use it as a bit of stuffing. We can take our stitch marker off and we just cut this piece because we're going to sew this on. So you just want to slowly pull that through. And we're going to actually sew this top piece closed. So as there's 6 single crochets, you want to just fold it in half. There should be 3 on this side, 3 on this side, and you just got to go through both sides. So that's 1, that's 2 and 3. So the top should be closed over 3 stitches, and then we're gonna sew on the tail towards the back. So you just want to make sure, you should be able to see the arms, you just want to make sure that it's right in the middle. And we're just going to sew through these. And just to make sure it's secure, I'm going to go back through it. And then we're going to pull through a random stitch. And we can just cut this off, it should be nice and secure. And here's how Perry should be looking so far. Now we're going to make the hat, and we're going to start with a magic ring that has 8 single crochets in it. So here we start off with our magic ring, which you guys should be really good at this point. And we chain 1, and then we need 7 more single crochets. So that was 1, this is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and then 8. So that's 8 single crochets into our magic ring. Sorry, I know this brown doesn't show up too well. And we're going to just pull this magic ring closed nice and slow. Then we're going to increase in each stitch around. So remember, that's 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. So inside our hook, do a regular single crochet. We're going to add our stitch marker on, do a second single crochet, and then we're going to just do that increase in each stitch around. So by the end of the round we should have 16 stitches. So then for round 3 and round 4 we're just going to single crochet around. So there we go, that's one single crochet, and we add our stitch marker on, and we're just going to single crochet around in each stitch for round 3. That was round 3 done. On to round 4 now. And for round 5 we're going to be using the front loops only, and we're going to do a half double crochet in each stitch around. So we yarn over and we find that front loop. So remember, you have to go up through the middle, front loop, back loop, and then we're going to yarn over and then pull through all 3 of those. That's on our hook. We add our stitch marker in, and we're going to do that in each stitch around. So remember, you're going in that front loop. So yarn over, pull up in that front loop, and through 3. And you're going to be doing this 16 times around. I do apologise, I know this brown doesn't show up too well on camera, unfortunately. And then you just want to fold it like this. And you've now got Perry's hat completed. So I'm going to take this out. This isn't part of the pattern, but just so I've got a seamless edge, I'm going to do a slip stitch in the next stitch. This is not written in the pattern, but I am just doing this. And then if you want to sew this on, you're going to leave a nice long end so you can sew it on. I'm not going to be sewing this one on, so I'm just going to leave a short end. So I'm actually just going to go through these front back loops that I didn't use before. And then I'm going to go back through them, make a few videos with the hat on and off. So that is why then I like to stretch it out and then cut this piece off. And if you are going to sew it on, you're going to sew it into those back loops. So if you can see all these little bumps, you're going to use these little bumps here, these back loops, to sew it onto the head. So, and just a tip, if you want it to look a bit more like the real hat, which looks a bit more like a cowboy hat, all you have to do is just push your finger into here, give it a little dip like a cowboy hat would, and just pinch it like this. And so we've got a regular platypus completed, and now we've got Perry the platypus completed. And stay tuned for more tutorials. I would love to see anything that you've made, so please tag me at raisa.art, and stay tuned for all the future tutorials come.